Oh, we are live! How are we, lads? Come on, the footy! The footy's back! Guys, subscribe to the channel. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah! The Cowboys win it! Woo! To the YouTube channel, I am Nick from Australia. Welcome to the Sunday football review for round 9 of the 2022 NRL season. For two games, Storm beat the Dragons 42 points to 6. Down there at Amy Park in Melbourne, and the Sharks beat the Warriors 29 points to 10. To help me review Sunday football, it is the great man CJ Moxley. CJ, how are you, bro?
Yeah, I'm well, man. Just watch some Sunday footy. Nothing too special today, but yeah, I'm fine, man. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. And we're also going to be joined by Sam Revel. Sam's in the house. Sam, how are you, bro?
Testing, 1, 2. Can you guys hear me?
Loud and clear.
Loud and clear, mate. How are you?
No worries. Yeah, good, man. Thank you very much for having me. Hey, CJ. How you going, man? Happy Mother's Day to all the mums out there. I had to come on and have my say. Can't wait to get stuck into it, mate.
Well, we watched the Melbourne versus St George game, and we all know how bad that was. That was a bludger. First half was actually okay. The Dragons were in that game, and then we got to the second half. It ended up being more of the same. And then in that last game, well, bugger me. I honestly thought the Warriors were going to win when the Sharks were down to 12 men, and then the complete opposite happened. You would have thought the Warriors had 12 men. That's how bad it was. But if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Go and check out the YouTube channel of CJ Moxley and Sam Revel if you haven't already. Yeah, we've got 20 people in the chat as we speak, so it's good to see. And if you haven't subscribed to me, I don't know what you're doing. You got to subscribe. It doesn't cost you nothing. It's fantastic. But let's get into the Sunday football review, and also happy Mother's Day to everyone out there as well, and people that are having a tough day today because maybe some people don't have their mum anymore. And shout out to them as well. Hope they're all doing all right. But CJ, bro, yeah. Melbourne Storm, fucking hell, man, 42-6 over the Dragons. I don't want to spend long on this game, boys, because it's a dog shit of a game. But CJ, mate, what'd you make of the Storm Dragons contest?
Oh, well, what can I say, really? Melbourne were just too good. Dragons, looked like they had no effort. In the first half, I thought they were pretty good defensively, but it all fell apart in the second half. Majority of that goes on Moses Mbai, in my opinion. It was just a very sloppy game, and Melbourne just dominated the whole game, I reckon.
Well, Sam, what about you, mate? What did you make of the Storm Dragons game down there at Amy Park in Melbourne this afternoon?
They should have gone down 6-0 at half time, except for a wayward pass that Nick Meaney ended up scoring from that should have been stopped by Moses Mbai, as CJ alluded to just then, man. It was a good effort to only have it about 12-0 there at one stage by the Dragons, and then just the damn wall burst, unfortunately, mate.
Now, look, the Dragons did win 3 in a row going into it, so I think everyone was sort of thinking, okay, Storm are probably going to win, but the question is by how much. Can the Dragons make it competitive? Now, on my tipping video that I did with CJ on Tuesday, I said Storm 1-12. And at halftime, I thought to myself, fuck me, 12-0. Melbourne have had about 68% possession. Dragons have had no ball. Yet it's only 12-0. So I thought, okay, if the Dragons can snag a try early in the second half, maybe they are a chance of making it 1-12. And it just didn't happen. They kept dropping the ball. Hunt looked really lost out there. Obviously, it was going to be a tough ask for him. And by fullback was really struggling as well. Lomax was overplaying his hand. I thought way too much. Lomax looked lost. Jack Bird was playing back row. He was playing like a 5'8". He was playing all over the shop. It was weird. Sam, do you reckon the Dragons will recover from this quickly, or do you think it's one of those games where it could hurt them for a couple of weeks.
They should recover. I think they're going to they will reconvene and they'll know where they stand now. They take on Gold Coast Titans next week, which is a very winnable game for them. And I think their defense, they can take a positive from their defense in the first 40, 50 minutes of that game.
Yeah. What about you, CJ? Will the Dragons respond quickly? Because here's the thing, right? Every time a team gets flogged by Melbourne, they don't usually recover the next week. I know the Warriors did it on Anzac Day where they got flogged by 70 and then they beat the Raiders up at Redcliffe there. But will the Dragons respond next week after this dreadful performance?
Well, yeah, like Sam said, they've got a simple task in the Gold Coast Titans. And there's no shame losing to Melbourne either.
No shame at all.
They only let in 42 points, and I know that's a lot, but I still give them credit for their first half defense. I think it was pretty well. So, yeah, I don't think they're going to suffer too much, but they know where they stand, like Sam said.
Besides Penrith, Parramatta, Roosters, Manly, teams that always go down to Melbourne and always give it a red-hot crack, if you're not one of those teams, you probably expect to lose 13+ against Melbourne, to be honest with you. Like, for example, if the Cowboys were playing Melbourne tomorrow, Sam, we went down to Melbourne, everybody would tip Melbourne 13+, which would be expected. Everyone would pick that. No one would pick us to beat Melbourne, especially in Melbourne. But like I said, if you're not Penrith, Parramatta, Roosters, Manly, if you're none of them teams, you're probably not even expected to even go close against them. So yeah, it is what it is. But we'll go through some of the highlights of the contest. There's not much to really talk about here. There was a no try to Jesse Bromwich. There was a no try to Nelson in the first 15 minutes, which I thought was funny. I was like, fuck me, they've scored twice and they've been disallowed. And then finally, first try of the game goes to Ryan Pappenhausen. Sam Pappenhausen, the bloke's a freak.
He is, man. Just really light on his feet, wasn't he? And found his way to the try line. He's so good, bro. But he's got an injury concern now, mate. He might miss next week or two.
Apparently, he's got I think it's a strained hamstring.
A small tear.
If he has a strained hamstring, he definitely won't be playing next week.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think he's done some sort of hamstring injury, so he's definitely not going to be playing next week. It'd be nice if the door was shut. It would be very nice if the door was shut.
The worst case scenario.
Interruptions on fucking live, ridiculous.
Why the NRL physio?
Can someone please shut the door?
Could miss a month.
Dead set boys. 1 month.
Could be.
Sorry,
worst
boys,
case scenario.
Fuck with the door.
Man.
Sorry, boys, about that. Yeah, Pappenhausen in trouble. What? Yeah.
No, very light feet to get over and score that try, mate. He was very
Sorry,
good
boys,
today.
my connection just cutting out a little bit. Apologies.
You're right, mate.
Yeah,
and Nick, can you hear us, mate?
I'm here, bro. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're coming in. You're just a bit fuzzy. Just the visuals are a bit fuzzy.
Here.
All right, sweet as, man.
Connection was
Continue,
just a
mate.
bit... That's fine, mate. No dramas. No dramas. As long as you can still hear me, that's all I care about. Don't worry about the visuals. Connection here is bad because it is raining up here at the moment. It's awful conditions. It's not good. Not good at all. Yeah, look. Melbourne 42 over the Dragons 6. And look, it's fucking chaos going on here. I don't know what's going on. But, yeah, look, Tristan Pappenhausen and then Nick Meaney scored a very easy, very soft try. Nick Meaney, boys, what the fuck? What was that?
It's poor defense from St. George. That's what it was.
Oh, it was Jack Bird having an absolute Barry, Nick. It was Jack Bird running on the last play down the short side and just didn't give Ravalawa a chance. Lomax was already way away from Jack Bird, and Bird just lobbed it out the back, and then it was picked up, I think it was by Munster, and then he just passed it back to Nick Meaney, or Nick Meaney was the one that pounced on the ball and then ran 70-odd meters to score that try, man. It was an awful play by Jack Bird, bro, and that's what changed the game. It could have been 6-0 at halftime with only a few minutes to go, but that's what changed the game.
Probably should have been 6-0 at halftime, and then Jack Bird obviously with that silly error, and Half time, it's Melbourne 12-0, and boys, we get to the second half, and it was pretty much one-way traffic, wasn't it? Pappenhausen got his double, and then he went off with a hamstring problem, which we'll get to towards the end. Then there was tries to Cameron Munster. Nelson Solomona scored, and he gave some sort of like this is for you, Dad, or something, which was great to see. And then there was a try late in the game to Trent Lorio, and obviously Jack DeBellin scored one for the Dragons as well. Boys, the Cameron Munster injury, massive blow. Not Cameron Munster, sorry, Ryan Pappenhausen. Big blow for Melbourne. He will not be playing next week, apparently. I can't see him playing against Penrith, not with a hamstring. How big of a blow was that for the Storm, boys?
It's a major blow. They're coming into a team that's lost, their winning streak. So Penrith will be hungry to, prove that, they're still the top dog. They're battling for top of the table next week. Game of the round, game of the year potential. Mate, Pappenhausen is a massive blow.
What about you, Sam? How big of a blow was Ryan Pappenhausen for the Storm?
It's going to be enormous, man. I'm not too sure how they work out the fullback position. Maybe Nick Meaney goes back into the fullback position potentially. Not too sure how they're going to work it, but it's a big blow.
I would be tempted to move Munster to fullback and bring in Harry Grant to the halves and Brennan Smith to hooker, maybe, potentially. I don't know what they're going to do. There's a few ideas I could bring. I've got Cooper Johns there. Cooper Johns there in reserve grade. He could potentially come in as well and play in the halves and do a job as well. But the other injury as well is Remus Smith. He tore his pec. He's gone.
Oh, did he?
Tore his pec. No. He is done. He won't. They had Tyrone Wishart play in the centres. Did a reasonable job, but I assume they'll probably call up Marion Seve or they'll bring something else in from Queensland Cup. But fuck, man, Pappenhausen and Remus Smith both out for the Storm, which massive blows for the Storm boys. Massive blow.
Yeah. But if there's one team that you can just rely upon to be the next man up and do their job, it's Melbourne, mate. So it is still a blow, but don't sort of tip against them and start doubting them. That's for sure.
You can't doubt Melbourne, especially with the quality they have in that side, and it's going to be interesting to see what they do with the team list. Whether they bring in Cooper Johns into the halves and they go Munster at fullback or something, or whatever they do. We all know it'll be the right one because it's Craig Bellamy. But Melbourne were obviously too good today, winning 42 points to 6. I just want to touch on the Dragons real quick, boys. Moses Mbye, he can't be fullback anymore, bro. Boys, they gotta bring Tyrell Sloan back in, or this is what I was looking at today, boys. Zach Lomax has been frustrated at centre the last couple of weeks. I would actually like to see Lomax go to fullback, Jack Burton to centres, and go with that sort of rotation. I think that would be a great way to do things. Sam, what do you reckon about that?
Yeah, I agree. I don't think Tyrell Sloan makes that much of a difference, though. But I think he may have gone in on Nick Meaney instead of Mbye just standing there and allowing Meaney just to weave his magic around him, arc around him. I got to say, man, Talatau Amone he hasn't quite found his feet this year, unfortunately. He has had a couple of good touches, but I think Amone, man, unfortunately, he hasn't found his feet, unfortunately, the young man.
That would be because Anthony Griffin keeps changing the halves every week. So, I mean, that's obviously the reason behind that. But next week, I want to see Zach Lomax to fullback, Jack Bird to the centres, and I want to see Sims go back to the back row and they can start Blake Laurie and they can bring in Jack Jajeski on the bench or something or bring back Josh Kerr or something. That's what I'd be doing. But I'm not the coach. But I think Lomax at fullback next week would be the best way to go. Mbye's got to go.
Right.
Unless you want to swap Lomax and Mbye and just switch that up. But
Mbye needs to just... His defense was like a disconnected PlayStation controller today, man. He just stood there in the middle of the ground doing nothing. So, what's he doing? That's what he was. He was just standing there.
Good call, bro.
Fuck me.
Whoa.
All right.
Yeah, dude.
All right, Sam. top 3 on ground from this bloodbath of a game between Melbourne and St George.
Yeah, I would have I would have to go Brandon Smith, my bronze medalist. I'd go silver medal, Ryan Papenhuyzen, and I think Cameron Munster had a blinder today, man. I thought he was just a terror.
What about you, CJ? Your top 3 on ground from Melbourne, St George.
Number 3, I'm going to go with Nelson Asafa Solomona. I think he had a pretty solid game, a few good touches in. Number 2, I'm going to go with Ryan Papenhuyzen. Before the injury, obviously he was playing really solid, bagged a double. And my man of the match is Cameron Munster, adds another 0 to that paycheck.
I'll go number 3, Papenhuyzen. Number 2, I agree with you there, CJ. I reckon Nelson as well. Thought he was great today in the middle. And man of the match, 3 Dally M points, Cameron Munster, proving to everyone why he is the best 5'8" in the game. Munster is my man of the match. Melbourne 42, St George 6. And the other game, boys, that just ended about 20 minutes ago. Cronulla Sutherland Sharks 29, New Zealand Warriors 10. The Sharks were down to 12 men for about 65 minutes. And the Warriors dished up absolutely nothing. Sam, you look like you're about to explode on the Warriors. Mate, what'd you make of that? Sharks 29-10 over the Warriors.
Unleash.
To the Warriors fans watching, I want the Warriors to do well. I want them to win the competition inside the next 5 years, man. But it's not going to happen under Nathan Brown. That's my bottom line. Nathan Brown out. They look like they don't know each other. Yes, Dejan is a very recent pickup. But the game management from 2021, I thought they were the worst in the competition, to be honest with you guys. And it's back again, and it shouldn't be that because Sean Johnson was picked up throughout the off-season. Sean Johnson was terrible in his leadership, the Savo. He tried his guts out, but the pass selection, the kick selection was terrible. My bottom line is that Nathan Brown has to go immediately. You cannot be putting in a 70-10 loss and a loss that embarrassing on free to air. Your first free to air game of the year. You can't be doing that, mate. Nathan Brown out for me, Nick and CJ.
I think he's got the fucking team list wrong still. He still doesn't know how to pick the team. He keeps putting players out of position. CJ, what'd you make of this Sharks 29-10 over the Warriors?
Look, the Warriors had themselves to blame. They had a lot of opportunities with, 13 on 12, even 11 on 13. So, they had a lot of opportunities and they blew it, mate. They absolutely deserve every single criticism that's come their way. They should have at least scored once in that second half and they didn't. Like Sam said, Nathan Brown needs to go. And honestly, it's like they packed up, left, went on the bus in the second half. So, look, they have to be ashamed of themselves and have a hard look at themselves.
I agree with you, Sam. I said after the Anzac Day game when they got flogged 70-10, I said Nathan Brown's got to go. And I said if he loses to the Raiders, I think he should step down. And they ended up winning that game, which put a little bit of pressure off Nathan Brown. But what I saw this afternoon, bro, he's got to go. Nathan Brown needs to step down. He's got to go. The Warriors are an embarrassment. I know my visuals at the moment are a bit dodgy with the internet. Like I said before, there's a fucking rain. Maybe another flood coming, so I can't help what the internet's doing. But Nathan Brown's got to step down, boys. The Warriors, once again, inconsistent. Sean Johnson, as always, the most inconsistent halfback in the game by a fucking country mile. So up and down. You can't get a read on the bloke. And boys, I don't usually say this, but I question the Warriors' culture. I question the culture of the club. I really do. I really question them. Reece Walsh, what the fuck was he doing today? He was quiet as fuck.
Very quiet. He was very disappointing
today.
today.
What the fuck was he doing out there? He did fuck all.
Wow. Nah.
Where's the creativity of Reece Walsh? He's supposed to be the man. And then, look, the Warriors have got the team list wrong, boys. I've been saying it since fucking round 1. I've got the team list wrong. I like Fanua Blake and Lodge starting. I've got no problem with that. But no problem with that. Katoa in the back row. I've got no problem with that. Here's my problem. You've got Ben Masilla coming off the bench, playing in the front row. That's wrong. He is an edge back rower. We all saw last year when he came back to the NRL. Masilla played a few games in the back row, and he was dynamite. He was scoring tries. He was warring the defensive line, and he was coming off the bench, laying it. Oh, he's starting in the back row, laying a great impact. And then, I think he had one or two bad games. He got benched, and today, I thought he was okay in the middle, but he's an edge player, so that I got that wrong. Ewan Aikens at centre. He's not a back rower. Jazz Tavaga is a dog shit lock. He's garbage. You know, Tavaga. You know, you're going to play him at lock. You know, there's so many other players that are so much better than Jazz Tavaga at lock. Tavaga's dog shit. The Warriors need to go out and buy a good lock. The back line today was unheard of. I mean, DWZ looked like he tried pretty hard out there. Everyone else looks shit. William Villia, I'm a fan of that kid, but everyone else was dog crap. I don't know, man. They got the team wrong, and they just continue to get it wrong again. The Warriors are a mess. But here's the thing. I don't think it's a big mess. I think there are things in this team that aren't. I don't think they're far away from being a top 8 side. I just think I keep picking the wrong team, and they just don't have what it takes with this shit coach, Nathan Brown. He's a failure of a coach. What do you reckon?
No, he is, and he's proven that he's a failed coach. We've all seen his time up in Newcastle. He's really only good for recruiting. He doesn't really, do anything. So, yeah, I don't rate him as a coach, and I never have.
Yeah. Now, boys, on the Sharks, credit to the Sharks. They were down to 12 men for about 65 minutes. They were down to 11 men because Raymond got binned. So the Warriors had a 13-on-11 advantage for about 10 minutes. That was the chance the Warriors had to come back into this game and potentially try and win it. And you know what they did? They did absolutely fuck all. Absolutely nothing. Sean Johnson looked like a fucking upside-down fucking potato. Fucking backwards Chinese food cunt. Sean Johnson was ridiculous. He was a joke, Sean Johnson.
That's the word. He was absolutely ridiculous, the Savo man. As I said just a minute ago, there was not a single play that I can remember where they tried to catch the short defensive line out by just running the ball, by passing the ball out all the way out to there was no depth. There was no communication from Sean Johnson to Reece Walsh and vice versa. There was nothing of the sorts. But again, let's go back to the Cronulla Sharks. My bloody goodness gracious me. They are that win. You forget about that loss to the Broncos last week, boys. That's just an anomaly, an aberration now, man. That win, holy moly, bro. That might strap a rocket to their backs and send them on a great winning streak now, bro. That's a win where the belief for me could concrete it for them, bro. Cronulla Sharks were outstanding this afternoon.
And look, here's the thing as well, boys. I don't think the Sharks were like a 9 or an 8 out of 10. I thought defensively they were probably an 8 out of 10. Attack-wise, they were probably a 7. I don't think the Sharks were amazing. I mean, they still made a few errors and did a couple of dumb things, but just the way they defended with 12 men all afternoon was excellent. And I want to ask you boys this. The Will Kennedy send-off. This is one that might have somewhat have a different view on this. CJ, Will Kennedy send off or sin bin? What would you have done?
Mate, I'm the referee. I'm standing there. I see that it's a sin bin for me, man. Obviously I can see why there was a send off. I'm not complaining with it. But look, if that's a send off, then so was Daniel Tupou and Ravalawa a few weeks ago.
Yes, good point.
For me, man, it's a sin bin. There was no ill intent in it. It was an accident. Walsh got right back up. He wasn't hurt or anything. So for me, it's just a sin bin.
What about you, Sam? Will Kennedy, send off or sin bin?
As the commentators said throughout the game, that's been a send off for 20 or 30 years now, man. And we haven't seen something like it in a little while now. So I probably would have been sent off as well. I would have shown the red card if I was the referee.
There is absolutely no way in the world that was a send-off. I can't believe that was a send-off. I honestly couldn't believe what I was watching. I was watching it with Dad, and I'm going, okay, he's probably going to go to the bin. Accidental swinging arm. He was off balance, clearly. He got him right in the throat, and his neck went back. Got back up like it was fine. I can't picture that being a send-off, boys. I just don't believe it's a send-off. I believe it's a sin bin. Okay, it's 10 in the bin, righto. Put him in the bin for 10 minutes, no problem. Send-off, no way in the world. And what's going to piss me off about this, boys, is Will Kennedy will probably get charged at the NRL judiciary, probably get a few weeks for it, but is it worth a few weeks? Sam, is it worth a few weeks?
Yeah, it is worth a few weeks, mate. The Fox commentary team spoke about Adam Cuthbertson from 14 years ago, and I was there that night when Cutho, coat hanger to Raiders player. Yeah, it should be a couple of weeks. It should have been a sent off, in my opinion. We've definitely seen worse. Don't get me wrong. And to CJ's point, Daniel Tupou, by and large, should have been sent off. Absolutely, that's a great point, CJ. So yeah, dude, I'm happy with the send off, and I'm happy for him to miss at least 2 weeks for that.
I'll tell you what fucking really pisses me off about this send off. Reece Walsh, I mean, yeah, who was it on? Reece Walsh, wasn't it?
Yes.
It didn't even have a fucking HIA.
You're right. No,
It didn't even go for a HIA.
Fantastic point.
So why the fuck's it a send off if it doesn't go for a HIA? It makes no sense.
My goodness gracious, that's a fantastic point, mate.
I can't fucking believe that. He wasn't even fucking going for a HIA. The referee didn't even question a HIA. Even the fucking doctor bunker, whatever the fuck they're called nowadays.
Because 5 minutes later, 10 minutes later, it was Reece Walsh who shouldn't have been on the field, by your point, Nick, creating that second try for the Warriors, mate.
Yeah, Viliami Villia. And look, man, I think this topic with the Reece Walsh send-off is probably going to be talked about till fucking end of fucking Magic Round now. But who knows, man? I can't believe that was a send-off. I just can't believe it, boys. He didn't go for a HIA. There was nothing, no HIA or anything there. Thought that was just ridiculous, honestly. I can't believe it. But obviously, we have me and CJ and Sam have a different view on it. I think sin bin. Sam reckons send off. CJ reckons sin bin. We've all got a different view on it, but we'll go through the tries now. And Nico Hines, that was a fucking brilliant, beautiful try. He scored the first one. That was a classy play. Sam, Nico Hines' first try. How good was that?
Very good, mate. A good way to start the game, mate.
Yeah, Nico Hines scores first, and then obviously the Warriors hit back. DWZ in the corner, and Viliami Villia, and the Warriors had the lead, CJ, and then Teague Wilton ran a beautiful line. Mate, what do you make of Teague Wilton's try?
Oh, mate, I think it was a really good try, that line he ran. Also, man, mad props to Teague Wilton. He played really well today.
He's a good player, man. I've been high on him for quite some time now. Last year at Magic Round, I met him, and he's come on the scene ever since Magic Round, I reckon, last year. So Teague Wilton is a very, very good player. And then Connor Tracy got a double, Sam. Connor Tracy, bro, he's such a handy player to have in your top 30. He can play anywhere and on the wing. He just knows how to do a job, doesn't he?
Fantastic depth, mate, at Cronulla, and he's the shining example of that depth. If I was him, man, like I'd be thinking about maybe if you didn't want to stay at Cronulla and try and get a full-time opportunity elsewhere, that that will be a good club. I mean, he'd be a handy pickup for any club, mate. I like Connor Tracy a lot.
When he came through the junior system, I think he came out of the South Sydney system, CJ, didn't he, as a half?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, you're correct.
I'm sure he did. And he was a halfback back then, and then he was a fullback, and then he was a centre. Now he's a winger. He's so versatile, and it's good to have. Connor Tracy reminds me a bit like Ben Hampton. He can play anywhere and just do a job. Just do a job. Just a handy player to have. And then CJ, Ramian scored one of the softest tries I've seen all year. Fuck me, man. The Warriors were pretty much walking.
It's the epitome of the Warriors' defense throughout the last few weeks, really.
Oh, it's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. The Warriors today made me physically sick. At the start of the year, I backed them for the wooden spoon. I'm not going to rule that out. I'm telling you right now, I'm not fucking ruling that out at all. Still a chance. They're only 2 games away from the wooden spoon, so not ruling that out. But they're terrible. The Warriors, they are fucking terrible. Sam, your top 3 players on ground from the Sharks Warriors game.
Blake Brayley as my bronze medalist. Teague Wilton just ripped and teared all game, to CJ's point. And I think Nico Hines, man, to float back at fullback and continue doing or executing his kicking game as well as what he did, bro. I'd give Nico Hines my man of the match.
Yep, I love it. What about yourself, CJ? Your top 3 on ground.
Yep. So number 3 for me is going to be Connor Tracy. I think he had a lot of involvement. 2 tries, should have been a hat trick, but oh well. Number 2, Teague Wilden. He was involved in a lot of the plays, a lot of good run from Teague Wilden. And my man of the match is Nico Hines. A masterclass game from him tonight.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but CJ, I've got the exact same as you, bro. I've actually also got the same way. Tracy got a double, so I'm giving him 3 points. I'm giving him a couple points. Teague Wilton, thought he was outstanding, and my man of the match is also going to Nico Hines. Nico Hines, boys, 3 Dally M points, probably back up in the racing for the Dally M. But yeah, the Sharks, a good win over the Warriors, and CJ, mate, your boy Souths take on the Warriors at Magic Round next week, and fuck, big game for both sides there, isn't it?
Yeah, let's just hope we don't, debut a player that shouldn't be debuted, and hopefully we actually get some, brains and play some footy.
Before we wrap things up, boys, I just want to say as well, having a look at Magic Round next week, I reckon there's about 6 games that could go either way.
I agree, man.
The games that I reckon will go either way, I reckon Bulldogs Knights is a legit a flip of the coin. Manly versus Brisbane is a flip of the coin, especially with Turbo back. Warriors and Souths is hard to pick. That could go either way. Titans and Dragons is about desperation. Melbourne Penrith, good luck picking that one out. And Roosters Eels is another one where another blockbuster. I expect the Sharks and the Cowboys to both win next week. The Sharks should beat the Raiders. Cowboys have won 4 in a row. They should beat the Tigers, who have been a bit up in the air as of late. So, fuck, man. Magic Round next week is going to be fire. I'm going to be there if there's no flood. If the flood comes, I'm fucked. But Magic Round next week is going to be fantastic. And I just want to say as well, real quick as well, next week's reviews will not be live. They're going to be live from the stadium. So the Friday Night Football review will be from the ground, like a video. Yeah. Same with Saturday and Sunday. There won't be any live streams. There will be a live stream for the podcast on Wednesday night. But as long as this motherfucking flood doesn't happen, no problem. Because they reckon there's going to be 600 millimeters of rain coming to Brisbane. Now, if that happens, Lismore to Brisbane, there won't be a way I'm getting there unless I can fucking steal someone's boat. That's the only way I'll get the Magic Round. But yeah, just hope there's no flood, boys. Hopefully I can get up there next week.
So the Breakdown podcast is live from where you are right now. Is it happening up in Brisbane next Wednesday?
It'll be in Brisbane. I'm supposed to be going to Brisbane on Wednesday. I don't know what time I'm going up there. I haven't even sorted anything out with times and that. But supposed to be heading up on Wednesday. And the podcast will probably be live from Brisbane. Probably at night.
And
don't know if it'll be 7 o'clock. I don't know if it'll be 8 o'clock. I've got to work out the times, but that's the plan.
And therefore, your tipping video will be from your location next Tuesday.
Yeah, I'll be doing the tipping video where I am right now on Tuesday, but tomorrow and Tuesday, everything will still be where it is. But from Wednesday all the way through the weekend, I'll be live from Queensland, which is going to be crazy. It's going to be fucking fun. Yep. A lot of fun.
Awesome.
I'm jealous, mate, because it's a huge weekend. There are so many interesting games next week. So many interesting games. 6
really tough games to pick. I'm telling you.
Yep.
6 tough games to pick. But Sam, CJ, thanks for coming on this Sunday football review. Boys, I really appreciate your time this afternoon.
Thank you for having me. Thanks, CJ.
No worries, man.
No worries, no worries. And everyone, go subscribe to CJ Moxley and Sam Revel. If you don't, you must be on fucking drugs or something. I'll tell you right now. You won't regret it. But anyway, guys, I am getting on out of here. And hopefully my controller doesn't break down like Moses Mbai did.
Exactly. And
Exactly.
Nathan Brown out.
Nathan
Out.
Brown out. All right, guys, like, subscribe. Have a good night. See you later, and I'll be back tomorrow for another live stream. And Sam. Tomorrow night we're doing something, aren't we? Is it tomorrow night?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes. I've got a discuss Wobble and Jaw tomorrow night.
Yes.
So yeah,
We'll
and Nick
draw
from
tomorrow night on
Australia
the
will
Same
be on.
Rebel YouTube channel. Be there. Anyway, guys, have a good night.